So I'm dropping in the second thing that is worsening your mental health, right? Isolation. Isolation can worsen your mental health, right? Like it's not good to be by yourself like all the time, right? Like we do need time to be by ourselves and to, to de-stress, relax, and just, shoot the breeze and just relax, right? But being by yourself for long periods of time is not a healthy thing. As human beings, we're social beings. We're supposed to be with other people, right? And even if you're not with anybody physically, I do believe that like a live stream like this is a social type of activity, right? You got 417 people watching live right now, not including the thousands of people who will watch after the fact, right? So, but it is different when you're on live because like if you're watching like right now, like we're actually like right here present in this moment on this live stream, right? Miriam says, "I hate people." So Miriam, I get this, right? And you may not have the energy to be around people constantly, but we do need some form of interaction with people. We do need some form of interaction with people, and however which way you get it, it doesn't matter to me, but we do need to be around people. So Marion, maybe you don't like being social, but maybe you have some friends that you enjoy hanging out with, or maybe you like spending time with, your girlfriends or your boyfriend or your parent or, or your partner or just whoever you enjoy spending time with, right? But if you do enjoy spending time with people, I would say it is important to tap into that because we're not meant to be by ourselves. Like people who, are, in a loving relationship, like they still feel those types of people they you'll do better this mentally and socially because you have that interaction with other people. Marilu says that's so hard because when you're depressed you want to be alone, right? So that's why I did the last stream earlier on how to help out a friend who's depressed, because if you are depressed, you're right, the likelihood is that you want to be by yourself. April says I need to isolate during a manic episode. That's interesting. Well, thank you for sharing, and that's your experience. So like I definitely recognize that. Normally I hear people saying that they isolate during like a depressive episode, and when they're manic, that's when they're like overly energetic and they're out and about. But this is neat. I didn't know that sometimes it's not just like a one size fits all. Sean says I use isolation as a way to decompress and reset. I do it way too much, and being a husband and father, I constantly have to remind myself to interact and stay engaged. Finding a balance between the two is a struggle for me. So let me talk about this for a second. We will get to the third thing that can worsen your mental health, but let me talk about this for a second while I have it up here. It's really easy to so first of all, with isolation, it's easy to isolate. It's very easy to isolate. Like think about why you isolate, because you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, and you just need a break, right? And with all of the stimuli that we can get from cell phones and from the TV and from substances, alcohol or marijuana or just whatever, right? A lot of people don't find a need to go out there and interact with people because they're like, all right, I can be at home by myself and take care of things by myself. And it is good to be self-sufficient and to be by yourself sometimes, right? But like Sean is saying here, sometimes we isolate way too much, and you have to remind yourself to stay engaged. And finding a balance is difficult. And Sean, real quick, while I have this here, one thing that's been helpful for me, I forgot where I got the tip. I try to do things things that force me to go somewhere on a consistent basis, right? So when I first moved to LA, I didn't have that many friends, right? And I was like super homesick and missing my family. Like I would go to this certain restaurant like once or twice a week, right? And then I got to know like the servers there and the people who work there. I would come and I'm like, oh, is Clarissa working today? Like, because I knew everybody, and it helped me out because I knew that all right, on Tuesdays I go to this restaurant in Studio City, and that's just what I do, and it gave me some sort of a routine, and it forced me to I have to actually like go out and talk to people even when I didn't feel like it, and there's a funny thing about that. Whenever I would force myself to go out and be social when I didn't want to, I actually ended up having a really good time, and I met some really cool people, so I do want to say that.